INFJs, often known as the rarest of the Myers-Briggs types, are individuals characterized by their deep empathy, complex inner worlds, and desire to help others. While they are often seen as nurturing and insightful, INFJs can also struggle with their mental health in unique and unexpected ways. In this article, we'll explore 4 lesser-known factors that can contribute to depression in INFJs and how these may manifest differently for this unique personality type. INFJs are often referred to as the advocates or the counselors of the Myers-Briggs system because of their remarkable ability to understand and feel the emotions of others. INFJs are visionaries and idealists at heart. This feeling of disconnection can create an intense internal conflict. Many INFJs experience this tension in everyday life, especially when engaging with social media, the workplace, or even casual interactions with others. The superficiality of these platforms, where people often display only their best moments, can leave INFJs feeling frustrated or disillusioned. They may feel like they don't belong or that their deeper, more vulnerable selves are not understood or appreciated. Because INFJs are so attuned to others' feelings and values, they often find themselves trying to adapt to fit in. However, this pressure to conform can be exhausting. INFJs are prone to absorbing the emotions and expectations of those around them, which can lead to them wearing a mask to protect themselves from rejection or misunderstanding. The struggle to stay authentic becomes even more challenging when the world around them is not aligned with their ideals. For example, in social settings where small talk and casual banter are the norms, INFJs may feel out of place or misunderstood, as they naturally crave deep, meaningful conversations. The superficiality of these exchanges can leave them feeling drained and disconnected, yet they may feel compelled to participate in order to avoid conflict or alienation. One of the most challenging aspects of being an INFJ in a superficial world is the constant push to conform to societal expectations. This can cause INFJs to feel isolated, as they may begin to question whether their authenticity is worth pursuing in a world that doesn't seem to care about these qualities. The pressure to project a curated version of oneself, often emphasizing beauty, wealth, or success, can feel at odds with an INFJ's desire for real, unfiltered connection. This dissonance between their inner world and the external environment can make them question their place in society. For INFJs, the struggle for authenticity is often paired with the challenge of vulnerability. This fear of not being accepted for who they truly are can lead to them putting up walls, limiting their emotional expression, and keeping their true selves hidden from others. This inner battle can be particularly intense when INFJs feel that others are not ready or willing to engage in meaningful conversations. They might feel compelled to adapt to the expectations of others, even if it means sacrificing their own sense of self. Over time, this can lead to burnout, frustration, and emotional exhaustion. INFJs are not content with shallow interactions or superficial connections. This desire to live authentically is what often sets them apart from others and makes them feel like misfits in a world that often seems obsessed with appearances. As a result, INFJs may feel disillusioned and disappointed when they are met with insincerity or when they are forced to play a role in a world that seems to place little value on authenticity. For INFJs, learning to embrace their authentic selves in a superficial world is key to their personal growth and sense of fulfillment. By accepting themselves and their need for deeper connections, they can stop conforming to external expectations and instead focus on cultivating relationships and environments that reflect who they truly are. By staying true to themselves, INFJs can attract the right people into their lives, those who are aligned with their values and who are capable of engaging in meaningful conversations and connections. In the end, the struggle for authenticity in a superficial world can lead INFJs to a deeper understanding of who they are and what they want from life. It may require them to find balance between their idealistic vision of the world and the reality they face, but it's possible to maintain a sense of inner peace and authenticity while navigating the challenges of the external environment. By learning to set boundaries, embrace imperfections, and focus on the things that truly matter to them, INFJs can start to reclaim their authenticity. The INFJ's struggle for authenticity in a superficial world is a battle between their deep inner values and the pressures of a society that often prioritizes the shallow, the temporary, and the materialistic. Yet, despite this struggle, INFJs possess a unique ability to see beyond the surface and understand the deeper currents of life. By staying true to their inner selves and cultivating environments and relationships that reflect their values, INFJs can find the authenticity they crave, even in a world that often seems to demand the opposite. This journey requires patience and self-awareness, but in the end, it's the path that leads to true fulfillment and connection for the INFJ. While these traits are often seen as signs of intelligence or being highly conscientious, for INFJs, they can also be crippling. This perpetual cycle of analysis and self-questioning is one of the core elements of INFJ perfectionism. At their core, INFJs are deep thinkers. A casual comment from a partner might be blown out of proportion, or a minor disagreement could spiral into an existential crisis about the relationship's future. This constant rumination can make it difficult for INFJs to be fully present with their partners, as they're often stuck in their heads, second-guessing themselves or trying to decipher their partner's true feelings. This can lead to communication breakdowns and emotional distance, as they struggle to articulate what they're feeling or thinking. Their deep intuition and desire to get things right means they are constantly analyzing tasks, checking their work, and considering every possible outcome. They'll overthink how they can communicate their ideas or work around the differences to avoid conflict, often leading to frustration and feelings of being misunderstood. Their need for perfection can cause them to feel disappointed in themselves or others when things don't go as planned. While overthinking is a natural part of the INFJ experience, it is possible to break free from the cycle of self-doubt and paralysis. The key lies in recognizing the negative impact that overthinking has on their emotional and mental well-being and learning to set boundaries around it. One approach is to practice mindfulness and grounding techniques to help calm the racing thoughts and stay present in the moment. By focusing on the here and now, INFJs can begin to disengage from the endless cycle of analysis and give themselves permission to simply be without overanalyzing everything. This can be especially useful in relationships, where staying present and communicating openly can help alleviate some of the stress and self-doubt. Another strategy is to set realistic expectations for themselves and their work. Finally, INFJs must learn to trust in their intuition and the decisions they make. They don't need to overanalyze every outcome or possibility, as their instincts are often accurate. Overthinking and overanalyzing are key components of INFJ perfectionism. While these tendencies can lead to deep insights and careful decision-making, they can also cause paralysis, frustration, and burnout. They are deep thinkers, often lost in their own thoughts and musings, seeking meaning and connection on a level that most people don't tend to experience. They may struggle to communicate their deepest thoughts and emotions, leading to feelings of alienation, as if they are speaking a language no one else fully understands. Moreover, their empathy, drives them to care deeply about the emotions and well-being of others, often placing others' needs ahead of their own. Yet, this care is often not reciprocated, and they may feel as though the world doesn't recognize or appreciate their depth of feeling. This creates a painful sense of isolation, as INFJs long to connect but often find themselves yearning for something more genuine and meaningful than what the surface-level interactions of everyday life can offer. INFJs are a rare personality type, and their depth and complexity often make them difficult to relate to. In a world that prizes efficiency, assertiveness, and extroversion, INFJs can feel like misfits. They might be perceived as too quiet, too introspective, or too emotionally driven, and others might not fully understand the weight of their thoughts or the intensity of their emotions. In professional or social environments, where there is often a heavy emphasis on outward displays of confidence, extroversion, and competitiveness, INFJs can feel like outsiders. INFJs are also prone to a deep sense of alienation because they tend to seek authenticity and depth in their interactions. In a world that often prioritizes quantity over quality when it comes to social connections, INFJs can feel as though they are an afterthought or an enigma, unable to fit in, yet unwilling to compromise their ideals and values. They seek those who can match their intensity, who can engage in deep, thought-provoking conversations, and who are emotionally available in the same way they are. While INFJs are known for their loyalty and compassion, they often find themselves feeling emotionally exhausted or unfulfilled when they are unable to connect with a partner on a deep, authentic level. They may feel that their emotional and intellectual needs are unmet, leading to a sense of being misunderstood or alone in their relationship, even if they are physically present with their partner. This disconnection can create a cycle of emotional withdrawal, which only deepens their sense of isolation. INFJs may also experience isolation in friendships. They crave meaningful, soul-level connections, but often find themselves surrounded by people who are more concerned with the superficial aspects of life or who don't share the same values or goals. This can create a sense of loneliness, as INFJs feel as though they are on a different wavelength from those around them. Another reason for I.N.F.J.'s sense of isolation is their deep-seated fear of rejection. Because they value authenticity and emotional connection, they are often hesitant to open up to others, fearing that they will be misunderstood or judged. This fear of rejection can also make INFJs hesitant to assert themselves in relationships or social situations. They may fear that standing up for their needs or expressing their true feelings will drive others away. They may appear as though they are aloof or detached, but in reality, they are simply protecting themselves from potential emotional harm. While they crave deep, meaningful connections, they can also be very particular about who they trust and how they reveal their true selves. This selectiveness may lead others to believe that INFJs are distant or standoffish, when in reality, they are simply discerning about who they choose to invest their time and energy in. Another source of INFJ isolation is the tension between their inner world and the external demands of society. INFJs often feel compelled to live up to societal expectations, whether it's conforming to cultural standards, succeeding in their careers, or maintaining outward appearances. However, this often comes at the expense of their true selves. This dissonance can lead to feelings of frustration and isolation as they struggle to reconcile their internal world with the external reality. This sense of disconnect can be emotionally exhausting, and INFJs may retreat even further into their inner world as a way to cope. The emotional toll of feeling misunderstood and isolated can be significant for INFJs. This can lead to self-doubt, anxiety, and even depression as they wrestle with feelings of inadequacy and loneliness. I.N.F.J.'s emotional sensitivity makes them particularly vulnerable to these feelings of isolation. They are often highly attuned to the emotional climate around them, which means they feel the disconnect and distance from others more acutely. The constant struggle between their idealistic, empathetic nature and the superficial reality of the world can cause deep emotional pain, leading them to wonder if they will ever find a place where they truly belong. Although INFJs often feel isolated, it's important to remember that they are capable of forming deep, meaningful relationships when they find the right people. They just need to be patient and discerning in their search for authentic connections. While it can be difficult to find others who understand them, INFJs can benefit from finding smaller, more intimate groups or communities that align with their values and ideals. Additionally, INFJs can work on becoming more comfortable with vulnerability and learning to express their true selves. Opening up about their feelings, fears, and needs can help bridge the gap between them and others, leading to greater emotional intimacy and connection. When INFJs let go of the fear of rejection and embrace their authentic selves, they are more likely to attract the kinds of people who can appreciate and reciprocate the depth of their emotions. The sense of isolation that many INFJs experience is a deeply painful and complex aspect of their personality. It stems from their inner depth, their difficulty finding like-minded individuals, and their fear of rejection. INFJs often feel like they are living in a world that doesn't understand them, making them feel emotionally disconnected and misunderstood. Though it may take time, INFJs can find their place where they feel seen, valued, and truly connected with others. INFJs are unique individuals who possess a deep understanding of others and the world around them. Understanding these unique sources of depression can help INFJs identify and address their mental health needs in a way that aligns with their inner values and desires. By establishing emotional boundaries, seeking authenticity, overcoming perfectionism, and finding meaningful connections, INFJs can work toward a more balanced and fulfilling life. Remember that seeking help from a therapist or counselor, or even talking to trusted friends, can also be an essential part of managing depression effectively.